Hi everybody, it's Katina. I am here for today's live stream, but I wanted to grab Kiki real fast because some people have been asking to meet her. So I'm just going to hold her up. She's taking a nap, so I feel bad about bringing her over. But here she is. She's our good girl who does not want to be held or on YouTube right now. And for her quick update, she's doing okay with her medicine, but it's starting to hurt her more. So I just wanted to bring her by to say hello for people that have been asking about her. Hi, Samuel. And she might hang out with us for a little bit, but I'm going to actually open the door for her when she wants to leave. So today I thought it would be a good thing to talk about would be practicing efficiently. So sorry for fixing my hair. I have not been able to figure out the temperature outside. All right, so Kimberly Doyle says hi and Samuel says hi. So thank you guys for coming. And let's talk about good practice habits. And I will definitely be answering questions as well. So now my hair looks like the crazy lady that I am. All right. I have some music with me because it's a lot easier to talk about practicing when you have some music with you. And I want to talk about a couple things first. And it's really, really important that when you practice mindfully, that you're thinking about what you're doing. So you have to go into practicing in a good space. So if you're tired, if you're angry, if you're frustrated, go ahead and take a break. It's not a good time to practice. And especially now when it's, there's a lot of stress going on in the world. And if you're too stressed to practice, take a break from practicing. But if you're finding that you're spending more and more time away from the clarinet, maybe do things that you love to do that aren't necessarily technical exercises. Warm-ups are great, and I'm gonna make another video series just warm-ups alone. But if you're finding it hard to practice, then it might be time to just play music that you enjoy, that's fun for you, that makes you feel good. So if it's easy music, or if it's pop music, or if it's things that not necessarily are considered academic or proper music that bring you joy, go ahead and play them. But if you need to practice and get some work done, it's really, really important that you're in a good headspace for that. So analyze when and how you practice the best. So I'm the kind of person that gets my best work done in the morning. So practicing in the morning works really, really well for me. Whereas later in the day, I get more and more distracted and I get more and more tired, so it isn't my best practicing. Have you ever heard the phrase practice makes perfect? Because I would like to address that, because practice does not make perfect. One, it's impossible to be perfect, but if you're just practicing over and over again and repeating things over and over and over again, it tends to be that we are repeating mistakes over and over again. How many times have you been practicing a passage and you miss it, right? And you're like, poop, I missed it. And then you do it again. Oh, poop, I missed it again. Oh, I did it again. I did it again. I did it again. Well, each one of those I missed it is a practice. Your brain doesn't know the difference. So all the synapses are making their little pathways of all the electricity and everything each time you do it, even if you do it wrong. So that's why when people go into performance, they can be even extra nervous because they've been practicing poorly. And then, if you've been 9 times out of 10 getting it wrong, and then the 10th time you get it right, you're like, sweet, I'm done here. Yeah, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna miss that one in performance. Okay, so I was gonna grab one of the Rose Etudes. So let's pick one. Let's pick a technical one, and I'll talk about this thing called chunking. Yeah, let's do number 8. Okay, so if you have the Rose Etudes handy, pull it out and look at number 8 right there. Eric doesn't have work today, so he can watch. Hi. Oh, Cat Lover's here. Oh, and thank you for saying she was adorable. She is a good girl. Oh, Kinsley. I said Kimberly, so I apologize saying hi to you. Bebe. Hi, hiya. Bonzu, something you said got retracted, so I hope it wasn't too bad. Oh, there it is. Any suggestions for a mid-range price good clarinet? That's a good one. I'll come back to it. Sam Hernandez, how much time do you spend warming up? When do you feel you're done with warm-up? Oh, that's a great question, especially for me right now. And Eric is psychic. Okay. All right, so if you ever have had to teach anybody how to read, or if you've ever worked on reading skills yourself, you may be aware of this technique called chunking. So it's for really big words like onomatopoeia, right? So instead of seeing all those letters and freaking out about it, you break it into little pieces. So onomatopoeia. onomatopoeia, right? And so we know that with reading. Same thing works for music. So we have a whole bunch of 16th notes right here, and it can be overwhelming. And this one I picked as sort of an easy one to talk about chunking with because all these little patterns are in their groups of 4 16th notes. So my suggestion is to learn the first one of the group of 4 16th notes. So I'm going to bring my stand over a little bit. It's kind of, I feel like I'm a preschool teacher and I have to read the book. You know, I have to read the book to the kids and you hold it this way and you look down at it. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of memorizing here. So it's the like that. So then you've learned that one, right? So you learn that first beat. That's the first part of your chunking. Oh, poor Kiki. She does not like the clarinet. She is trying to leave. Now, if the chunking is still too hard, like if that group of the 4 16th notes is still too difficult, break it down into even smaller bits. And you can break it down into rhythmic or articulation motives. So this one, you have the B, C, B with the slur. You can use that as a practice tool. And then you can add the 16th note before. And I like to land on the downbeat of the next chunk so that I can blend them together later on. First beat, well, technically that is my second beat, is done, right? And then I will do this one, which is the same one, so I don't need to practice that one again. And then this one's a little bit different. Also, look for patterns. Classical music, band music, jazz, we're really into patterns. There's patterns constantly, right? So use those patterns to your advantage. If you ever do motivic analysis, which is really fun, I am not a person that's into music theory, practicing because we have to be thinkers with practicing. So it's not so much, you know, I practice 7 hours a day, it's how I practice. So all that work that I'm doing in 7 hours, I could probably get it done maybe 2 hours. And also the human brain can't really we can't really handle incoming information or processing for more than 15 minutes before we get fatigued. So if you're feeling it after 15 minutes, take that break. So I have my B, B, C, B, B, which I did, great. And then the next one's the same thing. Now it lands on an A, so I just want to double check that. All right, that feels good under my fingers, and then I'll do the next one. And what does that land on, a G? So now I've got 3 beats, right? So I have a measure and a half. I'll put that together. Like that. Instead of just putting the metronome on slowly and working my way up, I will do these little chunks and build, chunk and build until it gets nice and big and I've got a good phrase. Then I'll do that whole phrase together, and when that feels solid and I feel secure and confident about it, then I can put the metronome on. I'll put it on nice and slowly and I'll build my way up from there. So that is one of my favorite practice techniques, the chunking technique. It's a really, really good one. I'm going to let Kiki out because she's super sad. You guys, I'll move she's over there on the floor hiding by the door. So I'm going to just go ahead and let her out real fast, and then I'll come back and answer questions. All right, baby, why don't you go on out? Here we go. There you go. See you later. I do feel bad that I woke her up from her nap. I woke that poor cat up. Okay, so let's answer some questions. Okay. Any suggestions for a mid-range price good clarinet from Bonzu? Wow, talk about chunking. Look at everybody. Look at Bonzu's last name there. Pippin Paddlepsychopolis something. Okay, mid-range price clarinets. This is another really, really good question. So one of the things that I usually do when I am advising people with clarinet purchases is that it's not a bad idea to look at used clarinets. So some of these used wooden clarinets, like a used Buffet R13, is a good price, and it can be the same price as a mid-range clarinet. So this one's hard because some of the mid-range wooden clarinets, sorry, buffet, and I play buffet and I love it, but I have not had good experiences long term with my students playing the buffet clarinets. Like the E11, the E12, they tend to break a lot. There's a pin in the this BE key that's a plastic one, and they put it in there for sound, I think, so it doesn't make a clicking sound. That thing tends to break, and which is not fantastic when you have kids that have instruments that break and you can't get it repaired in time. So what I usually suggest is if you have a good repairman or if you have a good shop near you, to check out some of the used R13, see if you can get an overhauled one. Those are usually in good shape. So mid-range would not be a brand new beginner, so we don't need to talk about Jupiters and Bundys and things like that. Ubel has some really nice wooden clarinets that are mid-range clarinets. The Bakun I reviewed last week. The Alpha is not so bad. It's a good clarinet that's mid-range. Yeah, I would go with trying maybe a used R13, but definitely play it first, make sure it doesn't have any cracks, and make sure it's in good shape. And then check out the Ubels, the Bakuns, Yamaha for sure. Oh my gosh, they have such great intonation, so Yamahas are wonderful. Yeah, I would go in the lower end of the professional models price-wise, but the higher end of the student is that's that pocket. So if you can get yourself bumped up into the lower end of the professional model, that's a good price range. Okay, so going to the question that I really don't want to answer from Samuel. How much time do I spend warming up? I'm going to give you two answers for that. Okay, so when I was doing most of my performing, so before I moved to Virginia, when my husband got in the Air Force Band, I was in the Florida Grand Opera and the Miami Ballet. And so those days, I would try and do 30 minutes a day of warm up. And like I said, early morning is better for me. Morning, not necessarily early, but I would want to do my thinking practice in the morning, but I also wanted to warm up before I did my thinking practice. So I would get up and I would warm up for about 30 minutes, and then I would take a walk, or I would go to the beach, or if I had work, I'd go in and do sectionals and stuff like that. And then I would take that break, and then I'd come back to my thinking practice. And I usually would set aside an hour and a half, 2 hours at a time, and I would do 30 minutes, and then I would take a 15-minute break. I'm a person that likes to take a lot of walks to clear my mind, so I would take about 30 minutes, and then I would take a break. Sometimes you get in the zone when you're practicing, and then you can keep going. If you're in the zone and you're feeling like you're getting good work done and you don't need to stop, keep going. If you feel like you're in the middle of something and if you stop, it's going to destroy your flow, don't stop, just keep going. But on the other hand, if you feel like you're not getting anything done and you're making a lot of mistakes and your mind is wandering, stop, definitely stop. You can come back. Just like hikers say, the mountain is still there, you can just hike it another day. So much to my great embarrassment, and I just, in total honesty, I haven't been warming up and playing these past months now. I haven't felt that same joy of playing recently because I've been busy with work and other things. So I have been neglecting my clarinet responsibilities. So I'm in a new warm-up situation. I would bump my warm-up level down to 5 minutes, because I have to build these muscles back, I have to build strength in my abdomen back, and then I will work my way back up into that 30-minute range. And then I have all sorts of warm-ups that I like to do, and so I usually put a timer on for 30 minutes, and then when my 30 minutes is up, I stop doing warm-ups. And then I have a notebook, and I'll take a note, and I'll just say, this is where I left off, and I'll start off in the next place the next time. I also tailor my warm-ups to what I'm working on, what I have coming up. So if I have a piece that has particular spots that are difficult, I will actually take all those individual notes out and make them whole notes and make them my warm-up. For any of you on here that have played the Hina-Stera variations, it goes up really, really high, and it's very technically hard. It's extremely fast. I would make those, so that high C sharp, the high C, I would make that my warm-up. I would just do that as my warm-up. So for that time period that I was working on that, I would adapt that. Or if I was in a rehearsal and I noticed that I was having some intonation problems, then I would focus on intonation warm-ups. Or if I was playing, when I used to play in the opera, we had a lot of stuff that was extremely fast articulations. So then I was just spending a lot of time. time. I would do my long tones, but I would also do articulation warm-ups too. Sometimes that would be a double warm-up. I would do my long tones and then would add articulation warm-ups in there later on too. So that's a great question. When do you feel you are done with warm-up? Like in my life or in my daily practice? Because I don't think I'll ever be done warming up. I think that will be something that I will always do to try and, to stay in shape. But I also keep my warm-ups fresh because I get bored really easily. And when I'm bored, my mind will wander. And then it's no longer effective warming up. It's no longer effective practicing. If I'm thinking about, what's going to happen on Star Trek next week, or if I'm thinking about the bills that I need to pay, or did I put the laundry in the dryer, I'm not anymore effectively practicing. So that's when I usually stop and take a break. But in my life of warming up, nah, as long as I play the clarinet, I think I'll be doing warm-ups, even if it's just that 5-minute a day one though. I've been doing demonstrations a lot recently because people keep asking me how to play the high G and how to play in the altissimo, and I have a great warm-up for that, and I notice when I play it, it is not the quality that I find acceptable in my playing. I'm having spaces and grunts and tiny little chirps in there, so that is a warm-up that I'm going to be actually starting with when I eventually get off my butt and start practicing again. Yeah, I try and keep it with what is going on in my musical life at that time. Okay. So, Ryan, do you do tutorials for the Rose Etudes? You're, I think, the one that commented on one of my other videos about that. I have done, so what I've done with the Rose Etudes is I've done recordings of the excerpts of them for the district band auditions for Virginia. And I haven't done tutorials on the Rose Etudes, which I can do, but there are also some great clarinetists on YouTube that are already doing those tutorials, so that was one I just sort of let pass. But I will absolutely float the idea of doing some Rose Etude tutorials because I do love playing them, and I spent the bulk of my clarinet student years playing them. And if you can hear those sirens, I hope they're not coming for me. When I learned the Rose Etudes, my second pass through them, I had one teacher I did them with, and then I had another teacher who was in the Philadelphia Orchestra. He made me learn them in C. So he made me transpose all of the Rose Etudes, which at the time I was like, wow, this really sucks. And then I happened to land a job in an orchestra that was an opera orchestra where tons of opera parts are in C. So I wrote my teacher a thank you card 10 years later. But yeah, I'll consider doing the Rose Etude tutorials. Okay. Oh, I love Shuex Minecraft. That's such a great name. How to buy a good clarinet and not very expensive. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're back to the clarinet question. Okay, not very expensive. It's important to know your, oh, I did not look up those clarinets, Samuel. That was my job and I forgot. Okay, so I will write myself a note. Anyway, okay, so how do you buy a clarinet and not too expensive? And that is hard because I also don't know what your budget is, so I don't know what expensive is. So your average clarinet price is going to be around $600 for your low-end clarinet brand new. Sorry, and that's hard. Your average price for a professional model clarinet brand new is probably around $8,000 or $9,000 now. So just thank your luck. The violin or the bassoon or anything like that where it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. Bassoons don't get that high, but violins do. Even the bows cost more than clarinets. So the used clarinets, they're not a bad option. There are a lot of people out there that buy clarinets and they play in band for a couple of years and then they don't ever play anymore. So you can get some good used clarinets on Craigslist, on Letgo. The problem is, or the trap is that you don't know the condition that it's in. So if you can go and try it out and just know what to look for in a used clarinet, and that's also a great video, then you can go, you can buy a used one. So that's probably your best bet for getting an economical clarinet. Moving away from the major brands, so some of the brands that tend to be expensive are Buffet, Bakun can be expensive. Moving away from those brands into brands like Yamaha, Ubel. Sam, maybe you can talk about the clarinet that you're posting about in here to see if that, you can give us some information on that one. But Yamaha Ubel have good prices. Bakun has the model, the Alpha. The price isn't so bad, but for, you know, for $1,000 price point, that's still high for a lot of people. So the plastic clarinets are also going to lower your price, but that doesn't mean they're any less well made than the wooden ones. It just means they're not wooden, and the advantage is they're not going to crack. So Bundy makes great plastic clarinets. Jupiter has great plastic clarinets out there too. So I would look in those places if you don't want to go the used clarinet route. Okay, next question. I mean, what is the best clarinet and not very expensive? I would do Bundy, Jupiter. Look into those, Bundy and Jupiter. How do you get the altissimo notes? Oh my God. How do you get the altissimo notes out? The ones with the crazy fingerings. Jesse, so I did that one. I've done 2 tutorials on that, and I should definitely do a video, if I haven't done one already, on those guys. The ones with the crazy fingerings. So I will do the truncated real quick version for everybody. Sorry, everybody that's been here for a while, because this is a question I get asked a lot. So if you can make it up to high C, you should be able to get to the C sharp, which is your next altissimo note. The problem is going from C to C sharp is hard. It's resistant. C is a little more open. C sharp is a little more resistant. So the advice that I give is to start on an E and finger off to get to the C sharp. Then go to F. F sharp. That was a good interval, by the way. The other ones had grunts. Then G to E. And then G sharp to F. And once you get up the F, to the F, you should be able to go back to that C sharp and then do a chromatic up to the G. So don't try and go from C to C sharp that way. Go from E to C sharp. It's easier because of the way the clarinet is divided into by 12ths. We're not by octaves like other instruments. So moving on to the next question. Okay. Okay, so this has nothing to do with playing clarinet, but what about auditions? How do you not get so nervous during auditions? I have a violin audition on June 8th via Zoom. Okay. All right, let's definitely talk about auditions. That's a wonderful question. I need to just take notes from everything because we're talking about some good ones. And Sam, I don't want to miss those clarinets because you've been telling me about it for weeks. So auditions. When I studied with Ricardo Morales, he said, think about an audition as a tiny little recital, right? Where you've obviously worked on this music and now you're going to have a performance of it. And Cat Lover, you're in an interesting situation because you have an audition via Zoom. So you can get a lot of practice for this in. So the big one with auditions is that, and I'm sitting up straight now because I'm getting ready for my audition too. I get very, very nervous. I'm one of those people that I don't have the confidence that I wish I had in an audition, and a lot of it has to do with just me, just my personality. So one of the things that really helps is putting your feet flat on the ground. Okay, so ladies, maybe consider not wearing high heels to your auditions unless those give you a lot of confidence and you feel strong and powerful in the high heels. And gentlemen, if you feel strong and powerful in high heels, you wear them too. I'm not one of those people. I need to feel my feet flat on the ground because it helps my proprioception. So my feet go flat on the ground. If I'm standing, I'm making sure my knees are bent a little bit. And stay with me here because I'm going through body awareness, because the big thing we don't do when we are auditioning or when we are performing is we don't breathe enough. We tend to take these little breaths. They end up right up here in our chest instead of the big full belly, the belly breath back into your lower back breath. You want to take a big full body breath. And we just don't do that the same way when we are nervous for an audition, because our poor body doesn't know the difference between being nervous for an audition and being scared for a bear, right? So our body is going through that same reaction. So before you start playing, I'm hungry and I took a deep breath and my stomach went, ooh, so you're going to hear that in a second. So I want you to breathe down into your body, way down into your sit bones, way down into your intestines. You know, think about your liver. You're breathing down into your body. Take a deep, slow breath. And then breathe out even slower, double it. Wow, my stomach, so sorry. You want to keep your shoulders down. You don't want to be breathing into your shoulders because that adds more tension into your playing. Okay, so see what you can do with just keeping your body calm. Breathe more deeply and more slowly, and that'll also help slow your heart down. When we're nervous, our heart starts to race as well, which is our internal pulse. And then we start going faster because what we used as our anchor for our pulse when we were practicing by ourselves in our practice room is now faster too. You can also do power poses. I don't recommend doing these in front of other people unless you have a really powerful sense of self-confidence, because it's things like this, like, you know, that kind of thing. And this, you know, think about people that have just won a marathon, or think about Rocky, like, I do it in the bathroom. So I'll go into the bathroom. I'm short. I'm only 5'3", so I can go into a stall and like do this kind of thing and be like, and that helps pump me up too. That helps me feel stronger. Since Cat Lover, you're doing this on Zoom, you can do all this stuff before you do it. Okay, so those are some things you can do at the moment. Go slowly. Pick a slower tempo than you're used to. Like I said, our heart is racing, so you're going to go faster. You have so much time when you take an audition. The committee wants you to do well. We want to hear a good audition. When I'm auditioning people, I want to hear my first chair player. I'm not wishing bad wishes on anybody. And as a matter of fact, sometimes when I hear things go wrong for people, my heart goes out to that person. So just know that that person on the other side of the screen, or the digital screen or the physical screen, really cares about you and they want you to do well. Okay? So you have good energy in that room for you. The other thing that you can do is practice the audition. So Cat Lover, since you're talking about a Zoom audition, and you're not the only one on here that's probably doing Zoom auditions, right? Go ahead and record yourself. So whatever device that you're going to do your audition on, do dry runs of the audition. And I'm not kidding. Walk out of the room, come in, sit down, turn on the computer, get to Zoom. Like maybe you can Zoom with a family member or something like that, or just set up Zoom. You don't even have to have it going. Wait, let me say that again. I'm going to change my mind. Record yourself on Zoom for real. So come in, sit down, pull up Zoom. You can make a meeting with just you on Zoom, and if you don't know how to do that, have somebody show you, and record it. Record your audition and do as many of them as you can before the audition. And the reason why I'm having you leave and walk out of the room and walk back in is they've done all these crazy psychological studies, which are really, really neat, that when you walk through a doorway, it's a transition and your brain changes just a little bit at that moment. And since most of us have to walk onto a stage or walk into a room to audition, it's good practice for that. Now, when you sit down and you set up Zoom and you press the record button, or you set up your phone and you press the record button, because before all of this social distancing started and we all were taking live auditions, I would tell my students, record yourself on your phone. It's extremely important because you're going to get nervous for playing for your phone. Record yourself and then go back when you're ready and watch it or listen to it and give yourself a lesson. You know, we are all musicians of value. We all have great knowledge. And so we all should be teachers, right? We all should pass this knowledge to the next group of people. And so you can be your own teacher. So go in and listen to your audition, but listen to your recording with kindness and love for yourself. And I only say this because it took me many years to get that, and many hard-earned lessons of being unkind to myself to get to that place. I would never treat a student the way I would treat myself in a practice room. It was just, I was very hard on myself. And you don't have to be hard on yourself. Be constructive. Just like I was talking about in the opening with practicing. Be constructive. Be a problem solver. Find where the problem is. Is it an interval that's not working for you? Practice that interval. Find a way to fix it. And then practice that over and over again. The good one. So practice auditions. You can practice it. So that's a really good question. I love that one. Okay. Okay, wow, we've got a lot of chat going on, so I'm going to have to scroll back a little bit. Okay, why can't I play high notes? That's a great one, Brian. And maybe if you can write in more detail about which notes are giving you trouble, how high up you can get, we can talk from there. Okay, XX Phase. Hi. Okay, cat lover, yes, violins are very expensive and I just got a really good violin, hopefully. Oh, good, congratulations. That's wonderful. I'm so happy for you. All right, Sam. Well, I know those clarinets because of my teacher. Schwank and Segelge are handmade German clarinets, but they are fully customizable. You can order it with different wood and board. That sounds, that's wonderful. I love the fully customizable clarinets. Those are really, really great. I'm not quite sure they're in the price point of some of the people that are asking, but sometimes when it's a handmade violin that you're going directly to the artist that's making it is less than buying it when you're buying it from a store, because when you buy it from the store, you have to pay for the big company, all their advertising expenses, all of their employees, and then you have to pay for the middleman, that's the dealer, and then the store has to pay for stuff. So there are all these markups that go in between. So sometimes if you buy something right from the creator, it ends up being a more realistic price. But Sam can answer that more than I can. Can you play Flight of the Bumblebee on the clarinet? Yes, I can. Will I play it right now? No. But it is fun to play. There's a couple really great YouTube videos of Flight of the Bumblebee. There's one with, I don't know if it's Martin Frost, but it's the clarinetist, and then it's a soprano. She's scatting it, like she's singing it, and they both do it together, and it's really, really good. So if you look up Flight of the Bumblebee, clarinet and singer, you'll find that one. And then there's a clarinet quartet that does it, and they turn off all the lights, and they have little red LED lights on their clarinets that are moving around as they play, and that one is a really good one too. So Flight of the Bumblebee is really fun. I get so very nervous for auditions, especially since I know the people who are judging me in the audition. It seems to make me more nervous than when I know the people who are judging the audition. Yeah, so me too. I get more nervous when I play for people that that I know, because I will see them again and I care about them and I want them to care about me, and I want them to find value in me as a musician. Ask my poor sweet husband. He is a professional trumpet player, and I get very nervous when I play with him, even though I know he loves me very, very much. I feel like, oh, if I don't play perfectly, which is the cruelest concept ever, is perfect, that he won't love me as much anymore, and it's stupid and it's foolish, and he certainly doesn't think that way, but it's one of my insecurities about myself as a player. That is one of the things where we talk about, just bravery, like being like, you know what, I can do this thing. And it also helps, and it might, come back to me in 30 years, cat lover, and let me know. It has helped me being older and having different life experiences that put my fears into perspective. So I haven't talked much about it, but I was diagnosed with cancer 2 years ago, and it was ovarian cancer, which is very scary. And I had to have 2 surgeries. I had 2 abdominal surgeries, and I had full hysterectomy. So I'm in medical menopause and all of these things. And before I went in for that second surgery, where they were taking out like tons of organs, I think I lost 6 organs that day, right? I said to my husband, I'm like, I am more scared at an audition than I am scared at getting major surgery and having cancer. And so that is, that is what it's like for us when for some of us. And then after I made it through and I'm sitting here, I'm healthy, I'm cancer free, and I'm talking to you. And then I had a performance when I was feeling better and I was healed, and I did not feel nervous at all. And normally I'd feel nervous because I had done this super duper scary, way more horrible thing. And I was like, you know what? Well, at least it's not abdominal surgery. It's not going to kill me. But I had to get through that place. I had to go through that to get there. If you told me this when I was 16 or 25 or even 35, I'd be like, nah. But now, now on the other side, it's not as bad to perform because, I've faced other things that are real things to be scared about, as opposed to, the musical things I get scared at. And I don't mean to downplay being scared about things, because it's real. Like I said, before I went into the surgery, I'm like, oh my God, a clarinet audition would be if I feel more scared about that. So, but I'm curious if you guys can put it in the chat if you've had that experience, if you've had a big life experience that changed how you felt about performing or auditioning, because we're all on this big journey together. Okay. Wait, somebody said I have expensive taste. Cat lover, you just said I have expensive taste, which I guess is good. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. Sam, the same with the keys. Oh, you're still talking about the clarinets. Thank you very much. Yeah, having clarinets that fit your hands is such a big deal, and it's really important. I went through a time when I was in graduate school where I was having a lot of tension in my shoulders and I was having numbness in my arm, and I went to a physical therapist that specialized with musicians, and he was saying for me to have these keys extended so that I didn't have to reach so much for them. So yes, having a customizable clarinet for your keys is wonderful. That's really helpful. But they're expensive. Oh, Sam, that's a lot of money. Oh, Franklin Unknown. Hi, Alexander Wilson. Could you make a video on Flight of the Bumblebee? Yes, I will put it on my list. But just so you know, my list is about 85 songs long. So I have a thing on my website if you go there and you want to have a tutorial made, if you want to have a special like any kind of technique covered, you can get yours bumped to the first in the line by paying $15. So I don't charge for the stuff I do on YouTube, and I don't have a Patreon, which would probably be a smart idea to do. But I do the thing where if you want your video bumped up to the front of the line, then you can do that. And I do private lessons too. But okay, moving on. Scooby-Doo theme. Oh my God, Franklin, this is hilarious. Yes. And then Brahms Symphony No. 1 is beautiful. Fourth movement. Okay, so those are the ones that you're playing. Oh, beautiful. So Cat Lover, going back to the audition question, since Cat Lover wrote down her repertoire, that's another thing I do when I am preparing for a recital or an audition. Not so much a recital, I have a different thing for that. But I will make a playlist of the pieces that I need to play, and I will loop that bugger. I will play that thing all the time. I will be brushing my teeth, I'll be playing it, I'll be driving in my car, I'll be playing it, I'll be folding laundry or taking a walk, and I just listen to it on repeat or in the background, and then that helps me get the music in my mind more. I don't necessarily do it for a recital because I like to have my own interpretation of my pieces, and I don't necessarily want to be taking other people's ideas. So I will do it for auditions though. Okay, hi, I'm just starting learning clarinet about a couple months ago, and I don't have my own instruments. I borrow it from a friend. Okay, I can't only afford either a new cheap one or a better sounding used. Yeah, it's hard to afford clarinets. They're expensive. So one of my things with finances for me, being a musician for my whole life, is I'm a saver. I don't buy anything on credit, and I save and save and save and save and save. And I will get the craziest jobs I can. Like I worked at a grocery store, and I worked at a wildlife refuge, and I worked at babysitting and tutoring, and you know, I work at a self-directed education center, and I worked at a preschool, and in addition to my other jobs playing, so that I could save up money to buy a bass clarinet or an E-flat clarinet, that kind of thing. I mean, I'm in that position now. I think I might be doing some out-school classes because I have to pay for Kiki's medicine. So yeah, but also I have the privilege of being able to work. So yeah, you know, one of the things you can look into though, Old Stagoth, is that how I say it? Old Stagoth. Maybe look into instruments in the attic and see if you have an instruments in the attic program near you, because sometimes they donate instruments, or you can ask to borrow one. Maybe do a shout out on social media. Maybe do a GoFundMe. A used student level clarinet isn't that expensive. So I think there's ways to get there. Okay. What would you suggest to aim at? Okay, wait a second. So your name is Roman. Okay. I can only afford a new cheap one or a better sounding used. And what do you suggest I aim at? Oof. Sometimes the new cheap ones can sound as good as a used one. So, but like I said before, some of the used professional models or used semi-professional models, if it's the same price as what your budget is for the cheap one, and it's in good shape, go with that one because it's better quality. But if that's not in your budget, it's still a little bit out of reach, you can make your decision like, oh, I'm going to wait a little bit more, save up some more money to get to that place, or I'm going to just go ahead and get this one now and practice and save up money for the future one and maybe sell this one later on. So once again, if we're going to go with the plastic clarinets, the low-end plastic clarinet price-wise, the ones I'm seeing the best when I do clinics in schools that last the best and sound the best are the Bundys and the Jupiters, are the lowest end. Then Yamaha and Selmer have some good plastic clarinets. And then so for some of the wooden ones that are in a good price point, it would be the Ubel and the Yamaha. I'm not quite sure the Selmer wooden clarinet price right now. I think it's very reasonable. Buffets can be high, but the R13 is not an unrealistic price. A used R13, if it's the same price as an E11 or E12, I would go with the used R13. And then Bakun has some good clarinets out there as well. Okay. Can you play, okay, I'm getting more requests. Seven Nation Army on the clarinet. Okay, that looks like number 87, so I will write that one down too. And then, oh, XX Phase, thank you. I just wanted to say thank you. And thank you very much. And I want all of you to know that all of your thank yous mean so, so much to me. They mean so much to me as a clarinet teacher. They mean so much to me as a person. And as, you know, I love having this YouTube channel with all these people that sub to me, which is really special, and I'm really grateful, but I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. So thank you for coming to my live streams and for liking my videos and commenting on my videos and making the requests and being a part of this community. So thank you for thanking me, and also thank you for being here too. I'm really grateful. All right, Cat Lover, let's see what you have. I have to know to play all the scales and play a piece that I just finished. And then, oh, the cancer story. I know, it's such a bummer. Thanks. It was a lot. I'm really glad it's over. You can see my face. I'm blushing. That's one of the other benefits of medical menopause, is that I will get a hot flash right out of the blue. Oh no, and I'm so sorry you lost friends to coronavirus. They were 15 and 16, and it's very scary and it's very hard. I am so sorry to hear that. And I know that in this world right now, I don't think there's anybody that hasn't been touched by coronavirus. And the fact that your friends are 15 and 16 is devastating, and it's very scary, and I'm very sorry. And I want you to know that I am thinking of you and their families, and I'm holding all of you in my heart. And, you know, let's just all stay safe. We can make a lot of multi-track videos at home until we can, you know, get on the other, just like I talked about before, you know, when I found the tumor in my abdomen and everything was very scary. I knew that I'm going to start crying. I knew there was another side. I knew I was going to make it through and get to the other side. Either way, you know, and that's where we are right now. We're in that discovery stage, and we will get to the other side. And we are so lucky, all of us here that are together right now, that we play the clarinet and we play music or we play the violin, right? And we can use that to heal ourselves and help ourselves and heal other people. And I know it's going to be hard for musicians coming out of this. There's going to be a lot of things in school where band isn't necessary and orchestra is not necessary and choir is not necessary, and we have to remember what the true gift we have and the power of music is, and stand by that. So you know, I'm preparing for it's going to be a rough go when we get out, you know, when we get out of this, but we also will have people that will recognize it too, and it will settle again. But I think holding on to our music to help us is very valuable, and it shouldn't be overlooked. And but once again, I'm so sorry to hear about your loss. That is horrible. I feel really weird going on to another clarinet question right now. Do I play any other instruments than the clarinet? Ooh, what tutorial song am I going to do next? Okay, so I don't play any other instruments than the clarinet. I play the clarinet, the E-flat clarinet, the bass clarinet, the alto clarinet, the contra clarinet. I very badly play the piano because I had to take it in college, and that is where I am. And I'm trying to learn the guitar, and I'm also terrible at that. And when my daughter did violin, she did Suzuki, and I did the Suzuki stuff along with her, so I can play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on the violin, and that is my level of other instruments. So pretty much everything for me was clarinet. Okay, Franklin, you're killing me here. Now, which I love saying because that's my first last name, because I've got two last names. You've been begging for the Scooby-Doo, and technically it's like number 85 on the list, but I know there's a Scooby-Doo movie coming out, or it's out already, so I'm tempted to bump that one up just because there's a movie coming out. So I don't know. I'm going to make the arrangement tomorrow and the recording tomorrow, so you'll just have to see what I end up doing. Cat Lover, thank you for saying I know it'll be okay, though. And I'm thinking of you and your whole family also. I'm always thinking of you guys, actually. So tell everybody I say hi. Is ordering a clarinet from Amazon guaranteed? Oh my God, Shuix Minecraft, stay with me. Okay, everybody, you can go onto Amazon and there will be clarinets there, and they will be $100, and you will be like, oh my God, there's a clarinet. It's $100. It's got a 5-star review. I'm going to buy this $100 clarinet because it comes with a pair of white gloves. Why? I don't know, but it's got white gloves and a peg and a stand. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Go into the reviews and read the 1-star reviews, because that's the clarinet teachers and the band directors that are like, oh no, my poor student wasted $100 on this clarinet, or this clarinet is the worst clarinet I've ever heard and we can't tune it in band. But all the 5-star reviews will be, oh my God, this is the best clarinet in the world. And I didn't know what was happening. And then I found out later on that you can buy 5-star reviews, just like you can buy YouTube subscribers or Instagram followers. You can pay and get those. So you can also buy reviews on Amazon. So do not buy the $100 clarinet on Amazon. It will be very tempting. You will absolutely want to do it. Okay, there's my spiel about the $100 clarinet. If you see like a Buffet or any of the name brands, check their prices, but double check them. See if you have a local clarinet shop you can buy one from, okay? But here's the last thing. After my whole spiel about the clarinets on Amazon for $100, I actually have a video on my YouTube channel reviewing one. I did not play it long term, so I don't know how well it stands up and how it lasts, but it's a good enough clarinet to get you through. So if you're playing by yourself and you need some joy in your life and it's all you can do is the $100 Amazon clarinet, just be aware that it's not the greatest intonation and it's not the greatest quality, but it'll get you there. My guitar is probably not a great guitar, but I am not going to be playing guitar in big concerts. It's just for me to sit in my bedroom and play guitar when I feel sad or whenever I play the guitar, right? So if that's where you are with the clarinet, do it. But if you need to have a clarinet that you're going to be playing in ensembles or playing in school or playing for auditions, save up your money until you can get one of the better quality clarinets. Okay. I am going to have to wrap up. This is like my longest live stream I've ever done. So I'm going to finish up with the questions that I see right. Oh my God, there's more. Okay. Okay, look for a used music store. I bought a used. Okay, whoever's doing Tina Clarinet, follow her advice. The used clarinet for $300. Oh, a Selmer for under $300. That's what you want. That's golden. So follow Tina's advice there. How much does a brand new bass clarinet? Oh, poor Alexandra. I am sorry. It depends on which one you want. Like, I think a low C extension wooden bass clarinet now is like $12,000. There might be people in the comments that can answer that better than me. They're like between $12,000 and $14,000. If you're getting plastic, it's going to be less. And if you don't have the low C extension, just going to E flats, I think that shaves off maybe $3,000 off of that price. Yeah, the bass clarinets are obviously going to be more because they're bigger. If you can't afford the low C extension, but you're willing to wait and save up your money to get it, that is always my recommendation for bass clarinet. Always. Just try and get to that low C extension if you can. If it's something that's in the future of your budget, go for it. It's absolutely worth it. It's really fun to play that low, and there are a lot of pieces that have that low C. But if you can't, that's also okay. You know, playing to that low E flat is also really, really fun too, and playing bass clarinet is really fun. So if getting a bass clarinet, the low C extension is too far away for you for now, go for the regular bass. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, definitely try and get those old ones. Sorry to add another song. Could you do Uptown Funk? That one's on my list. That one's happened before, but I'll double check that one. And then, yes, I know you know my name is Katina, but it will always be auto-corrected to Karina, Katrina, or my favorite, Cantina. And what is the highest note you can play in the clarinet? That's my last question. The highest note I can play, maybe to the C sharp above the high C, the other high C. So G, I'm doing my chromatic up to high G here, and then I have G sharp, and then I have A, and then I have B flat, and then I have B, and then I have high C here, and then you can kind of just keep going forever. So if you want to listen to some really high clarinet playing, check out Robert Spring. He's got some great recordings where he's playing really, really high. But most of us, our standard high note is a high G. We usually don't go much above that. Every now and then you'll get an A in there. Okay, Jesse, you got in here at the very end. I have to pull the plug. Playing with asthma. Any tips, anyone? That's a good one. I'll do some research. If you come back next time or you send me an email. But that's a good one about asthma. I don't know that one, but I will reach out to the clarinet community. If you are on Facebook, there's a really good group, the International Clarinetist Discussion Group, and then there's the Clarinet Channel, and then there's the International Clarinet Association discussion group or whatever. There's all these clarinet groups. If you can get into one of those and ask your asthma question, then you will have scores of people writing back to you, not just me. So you'll probably get better advice there. So if you're not on Facebook, there's a website called woodwind.org, and people ask questions on that as well. So I'm going to wrap it up. But thank you everybody for coming. This was a great session. So many good questions. I feel like we covered all the emotions. You know, we went over here and then we went over there. It looks like Cat Lover is answering your asthma question, and thank you. And I hope you stay safe and healthy too. And then she's answering your asthma question. And then thanks for your tutorial on The Hobbit. Oh, thank you. Oh my God, I've been watching all the Lord of the Rings movies, and I'm listening to The Hobbit. I'm like, this is really pretty, and it's like a clarinet solo in the beginning of the demolition of Smaug, or the desolation of Smaug or something. It's beautiful. I want to do all the Lord of the Rings ones. There's some beautiful Harry Potter themes that I haven't gotten to, like the family portrait theme is just so pretty. And then of course I'm a huge Fantastic Fantastic Beasts fan, so I've got to do some of the pretty themes from there, like Newt's theme with Tina is so pretty. Yes, I am definitely showing my nerd stripes right now, but there's so many beautiful melodies out there that I just can't wait to get to, which is why my list is so long too, and all you guys keep coming up with good ones. So thank you for thanking me for The Hobbit. It's just so pretty, isn't it? Okay, yeah, it is like a great stream. It won't end. I'm not a medical professional, so don't follow my advice. Yeah, that's a good one. I've been playing for years, and I was told last year it's a bummer. All right, thank you. I'll check it out. Oh, about the asthma? Yeah, I will check it out. Check it out on Facebook, and we'll see what we can do. There's ways to work through. I think there's ways to work through anything, you know. Lord of the Rings is my favorite movie. Oh my gosh, it's such good. My email address, and I will type it in there for you. It's csweetie@gmail.com. You would think after all these years I would have like a Clarinet Project email address, which I don't, and I should definitely do one of these days. So I'm typing in my my Gmail here. It's like my personal Gmail account, but it's also in the description of the YouTube channel as well. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, have a good weekend, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye.